5-game slate, which feels like a 2-game slate. So we're going to have to figure out something. With that said, that's pretty much accurate, right, Sheets? 2-game slate, it feels like?
Well, I just started to update the projections. I did something like early this afternoon after they got news that Anthony Davis was out. But I haven't done anything since. Is there any news in the last couple of hours, or it's still the Knicks and I guess the Lakers?
Yeah, Anunoby's out. I don't know if you saw that one before.
I did not.
But it's kind of irrelevant because all the guys are good plays anyway, you know. It just makes maybe Grimes and those guys a little bit, I guess, a little harder to fade. Maxi's out, but Embiid is still questionable.
Wait, what makes Grimes harder to fade?
Anunoby being out.
Oh, he was out yesterday though, right?
Yeah, but his projection increased 6 points. Just the more minutes. I mean, that's why you're playing him for yesterday, because of the 31 minutes. In a good matchup where you can kind of accidentally get there. So very, very tough to get different than the Lakers and Utah. I tried flirting with
Lakers and Knicks, you mean?
I'm sorry, Lakers and Knicks. Sorry, Knicks were playing Utah. That's why I got confused. The thing is, you could play the blowout angle. I know the Lakers are only 6-point underdogs, which is whatever. The Hawks are so bad defensively, but maybe fading Russell and LeBron is one thing, but still you're not going to be that different than a bunch of builds. It's really hard to get different because you're still good. Then you'd want to play, Hachimura, one of Wood or Hayes, probably want to play Reeves. Well, at least one of Reeves or Russell, but Reeves would be the guy there. Maybe he'll be a little lower on. Maybe Terrain Prince and against his former team or something like that. But all of them are going to be owned. And what I was doing was playing Brunson, playing 2 or 3 Knicks, playing 3 or 4 playing probably 3 Lakers, and then playing Embiid and maybe somebody on Golden State, which gives me some flexibility. But even that I couldn't work out quite right. So I ended up with an Embiid and Draymond build. So it's just really hard to get different.
Well, you know what you could do? I mean, if you want to. I mean, this is definitely not optimal. But you could do like our friend last night, just fade all those values and just stack Chicago, Toronto.
Yeah, and it's
I'm not saying it's ideal, but I mean.
Well, and the other problem is that you're not getting that much lower ownership on these Chicago guys than you are on the Lakers.
Well, in fairness, though, they can't play everybody, right? I mean,
Right. I do think the Toronto side is the side that got pushed aside today, for what it's worth. I don't know. So you've also got Boston in a good matchup. Obviously, Tatum played 38 minutes, and they're on a back-to-back too. But, both he's going to be really popular too. And yeah, you're right. They can't play everybody, but they all can have a list of 12 to 14 players that they play from. And these are all those 12 to 14, in my opinion.
That's fair enough.
It's just really difficult. So I'm trying to do different things. And I do think that, so Embiid's projection, and, now he's gettable. So it's kind of hard to tell where his ownership's going to be. But it probably won't be that much north of 10% just because there's other good plays to make on this slate. And you really don't need to do it. Now, the other argument is that you can do it. So some people are going to take that opportunity, but maybe not enough. And maybe you speculate and just say, you know what, maybe he is legitimately a game time decision. And even if not, both Patrick Beverley and Tobias Harris can get there anyway, potentially even Oubre. So maybe you get 2 of those guys with what's it called on the other side, or Kuminga or something, just as a way to get different. I mean, that's what's been going through my head. My problem in analyzing my play and even going through the contest sims and trying to do it for each contest and all that stuff, it was interesting, but it almost always the build was almost identical in every single thing all the time. And the only ways I see it being different were playing 2 of these bulls where most people will probably pick one, but even that, they're all supposed to be 20%.
Well, here's one thing. Okay. So, one of these days I'm going to show you how this whole thing works, because in the NBA, maybe because it's just a very highly projectable sport in general, So I talk about this all the time. Like I do all the sports, right? And I do contest sims for all the sports. And the thing that's most interesting to me is which sports have the most discrepancy between number one, the optimal build, number two, the Saber Sim regular build, and then the contest sim adjusted build, right? Like if you run baseball, like even straight through Saber Sim, right? And then you'll get like this list of stats and whatever. And then you attach the contest sims, you will literally get like completely different teams. Right. Same thing in hockey, actually. You get like almost completely different teams.
That makes sense.
In football, not that big of a difference.
Interesting. I would have thought football you'd have some difference at least.
A little bit, but not that big. And then basketball, very little difference.
That's what I was gonna expect.
Very little difference. And it's part of it is because number one, it's pretty highly projectable. It's tough to get that off the board and have a good play, And the other thing I think is because basketball itself is not as correlated as like hockey and baseball, like you get like five, you have to have five guys from one team, or four guys from one team. Where basketball, we can, we play around with correlation. Hey, let's be nice to have run backs and maybe go for overtime. But the reality is that like baseball and hockey are like completely different animals than like basketball. And football is sort of in the middle, right? So football, there is some degree of correlation, but it's not as violent, as baseball and hockey. And I think that's how the contest sims sort of work, in that if you can fade like a chalky, say, baseball stack, you know what I mean? Like you can get like serious leverage, because if one guy doesn't get there from a team, then probably the whole team doesn't get there. Like if Mike Trout busts, it's very likely that the Angels stack busts. Whatever. Right. So don't worry about it too much. Like if it's not giving you that big of a discrepancy.
Yeah, no, I wasn't worried about it. I just was noticing, and.
No, but it worries about, because listen, you're trying. It's only human nature, right? You're trying this new thing, right? You're trying to apply this technology. What the hell's the difference? Why am I doing this? Here's a guy that I'm looking at my projections here. There's one guy that I have that on one site is like an outlier. That like I'll tell you who the player is. There's one guy who's got projections like 10, 10, 10, and then one place has him at like 17 with like a 15% ownership projection. And that's a guy named Ben Shepard. Do you have anything about this, or what is it? What's his story?
Because he might play some for Indiana, because there's no Matherin, and they're already missing. What's his name? McConnell. But it's highly speculative for sure. It's really just. It's hard, man. It would be. It feels like a dart throw with Halliburton back.
Definitely. It was interesting to me that to have one outlet, and it's just like one place out of like 7 that has him like listed that way.
Yeah.
So just throw that out there. All right, I just updated the projections. I'm going to upload them now, and then I'm going to see what they look like. So let's talk about the Lakers for a minute. All right. So you have Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes, right? I presume that one of them is gonna. You tell me what's gonna happen. What are you projecting for minutes over there? What do you think's gonna happen over there?
So. It really just depends on how close the game is. And I know it sounds like a really weird thing to say. And I guess that, yes, I plan on it being close to Atlanta. It's not like a great team or anything. But it is a back-to-back 3rd and 4 nights. LeBron is a million years old, off of taking some time off and playing back, playing 37 minutes, which I have no idea why he did. That's a whole separate issue. That game was over. I thought they would pull him in early in the 3rd. I don't know. I am curious what the starting lineup is going to be. I think most people are projecting Wood or Hayes. My natural thought would be to project Vanderbilt would be the starter, which would make it very weird to play Wood or Hayes or both together if neither of them were starting. But I do think people will play Wood and Hayes together some. And it's the same thing with these guys. Yes, they project well. Yes, you probably should play one of Wood or Hayes. But we have no right to complain when they put up 10 fantasy points again. You know what I mean?
Well,
I like those. I like Wood better than Hayes slightly. I like D'Angelo Russell and Reeves a lot and try and get off. I don't know. I guess just I like those guys a lot.
and so between like Hayes, like Hachimura, and Wood, like I'm taking like the bigs, whatever. So which two would you not play together? I mean, how do you? I mean, I look at all three of those in the same bucket.
Yeah. Wait, who's the other one you said?
Rui, Wood.
Oh, Rui. I don't think you should look at Rui in the same bucket.
Okay.
Unless he starts.
Well,
it really depends on who starts.
Right?
What's that?
He might. No.
I would be. I mean, it would be very strange if they started him. That would be probably. I would put him as like. I think it would be most likely would be one of Vanderbilt, Hayes, or Wood. I don't know which one it'll be. Honestly, but I would guess it'd be one of those three guys. Maybe it would be really weird to start Rui. That'd be a really bad coaching, but we've seen a lot of bad coaching from them. So I don't know what to say on that one. Right. Yeah, I would be very surprised. I haven't seen one projection site that has Rui projected to start. I'd be really surprised that the NBA doesn't think he's going to start.
I have a minutes projection of him for 24.
That sounds about right. But I think it's impossible to guess these minutes because this is all going to depend on game flow and what the hot hands are working.
Well, that's the thing. So I have Rui at 24, Hayes and Wood both at 22. So which one do we think is going to be in the blow? We don't know, but what would you listen? You know the Lakers, and who do you think is going to be there if it is a blowout, for example? I don't hold you to it. What do you visualize, or what do you see out there?
I would again say it depends on who's starting, because that would make that person slightly less. It would.
Okay, so you're saying that whoever would be coming off the bench would be more likely to be in there for the blowout?
No, because it depends on who starts. Because the three starters that they could put out there would all be a different answer. Like Vanderbilt, if he starts, would be yes, then he's unlikely to play. Both Hayes and Wood are likely to play in the blowout anyway, at least some. But it's been anybody's guess which one it's been. But it's usually only been one of them at a time. Occasionally, it's been two. And yes, I'm not saying that it's going to blow out. I'm just saying that keep an eye out and it's. I mean, look, I said last night I was big on the Houston thing against the Lakers. When I bet against the Lakers, I tend to do pretty well. I bet against them again tonight. But yeah, it is the Hawks. They're terrible. Like that's what makes it even harder to fade these guys. I think that this again 3 makes the most sense to me. 4 is the easiest one that you're going to find, I think. But I'm trying to stick to 3 or 4. I have 4 in some lineups, but trying to stick to 3 or 4 and then trying to stick to 3 or 4 next makes it really hard. So trying to just get one less guy to do something different in 2 spots is sort of the way I see the slate.
Well, let's get back to what's most important. Okay, is that we're going to do the same thing I did yesterday. So yesterday, as you recall, if those of you don't recall, we bet Josh Hart. Right, he had an over/under of 7.5 rebounds. It was minus 150, and we bid it up to 8.5 and got like plus 110. This was before Anunoby got ruled out. Right, this is yesterday. Okay, basically when Anunoby got ruled out, you know what I mean. It was probably worth another full rebound at least. Okay, nonetheless, we did it plus the 8.5, and we covered in the first half. Today, I mean, I figured it would go up or whatever it is. And now we have, what's his name, out again. And I'm going to get the same thing, like over 8.5 plus 100. I'm just doing that. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So that's in.
I'm trying to, I've got MJ asking, is it okay to play Kuminga and Draymond together? Specifically, like on a slate like this, I would say that yes, they may both get there, but what are you hoping to accomplish other than that it's going to be like a very unusual to play them both together? Because that other spot you've got, so you're playing, that means you're not playing one of Hart, DiVincenzo. One of Hart, DiVincenzo, if you're playing those guys, and Reeves, possibly 3 of them. So all of those guys I like better than Kuminga or Draymond. But I'm forcing in a little bit because I think those guys will be a little lower on. So on a 5-game slate, the answer would usually be yes, they're okay to play together. I actually think that you're giving up a lot of upside if you do that, just with the other 5,800 players. But yes, technically they're okay. I would rather not do it. I would rather not do it. Like it's you technically they are definitely a negative correlation to each other. Now, can they both get there? Sure. And I don't want to see the Draymond 53-point thing where he scored 25 in the 2 overtimes. Draymond still hasn't gotten there yet at this price, has he? Since he's come back. And I'm saying, yet I am talking about play. I'm playing. I'm not even against either of the plays. I just think that they definitely can cut into each other somewhat. I would, yeah, it's okay. I don't know. I'm really lost on this slate, as you can tell, because when this much chalk makes this much sense to me, it's really hard. It's really aggravating because usually I can find like one normal thing to get different or something, and I'm having a really hard time today with it.
Okay, I want to show you something. Hopefully, you can pay attention. Because I think this is
I'm sorry, I was reading the reports and trying to keep up with a couple different things that somebody who sent me something that I thought was about right now. But yeah, anyways.
What?
Sorry.
Oh, okay. So I want to show you a couple of things you could do. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, like on this particular slate, okay, I just ran the lineups based on my projections, whatever, and that again, we didn't make any changes yet, but I'm doing this for a reason. Okay. Where is the contests in here? I'm going to run this first, and then I want to show you a couple of things that you could do based on what you just told me. You know, like you said, I don't feel comfortable with this. So we made no changes. I just ran regular Saber Sim the way it was, and I ran the contest sim because what it is what you really should do is you save your dummy lineups, and then when it goes into contests here, you upload it. I'll show you how to do this tomorrow. But yeah, I'll show you how to do this tomorrow. But like one thing you do, like, so this is like your build. Let's say it was even done, okay? And you see, you know, like a whole bunch of nicks or whatever it is. One thing that's kind of that you can do is this min uniques thing. Like if you want to like get a little bit, you know, not as concentrated and get like more variations, you just can click down here, like min uniques 2, min uniques 3, and it kind of spreads out a little bit. That's like one thing, and you can see like it automatically just kind of like screws around with the build just a little bit. But I think what you would like is something like this. Like within this build here, you go into team stacks, okay? Mm-hmm. And you can see like how many of these have, say, like 5 of one team. And if you don't want to play like 5 of one team, because you very rarely do, right?
Tonight would be a night I have no issue with 5 guys from a team tonight.
Oh, okay. But if you did, right, you would start with this, and you could just X this right out here.
Right. How much is it giving you? Only a little bit of it? Oh, I'm surprised. I'm surprised you don't get more of the 5-man.
Yeah, no, only that. Meanwhile, the contest sims are done. So remember, you got to re-rate them by the whatever, and then like you see, it's not too much of a difference. And you're getting 4, 18 of 50 are going to have 4 nicks, But if like, let's say you don't like that, then you can X them out. Now, if you also have issues with guys together, if you look through, like, let's say, I don't know, but I guess this is not the slate to do it because I don't think you have a problem with any of them, right? Grimes, Grimes, Hart, Vincenzo, and Brunson. You play with 4 of them.
I don't know if I'm playing. I'm trying not to play Grimes, but.
Well, no. So let's say this one. Like, let's say you have DeRozan and Vooch together. Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I have no problem with that, and I think that's why the simulations are coming up with it, because people aren't going to do that together. The chances of I don't know. It just seems like it could still stay optimal. I have no issue with those 2 together.
Okay. So what I was going to show you is how you can eliminate those combinations, but post builds. Like if you did it like pre-build, obviously you can go ahead and do that. But it's better to do it kind of post build because now you're at least getting a decent pool of lineups.
Yeah.
But I'd be more than happy to walk you through all this shit because
I would love to do that.
I don't know anything about basketball, but I know this shit. You know what I mean? So I'd be more than happy to
No. I actually would. I was going to suggest. I would really appreciate that actually separately. Yeah. I just have been tearing my hair out with this slate, just trying to find anything that I could find. You know what I mean? And And like somebody asked, like Jolly asked a question that I think is one thing you can do to get different a little bit, although he's going to get ownership tonight too somehow. He asked about Curry versus Brunson. I think Brunson is clearly the right answer, but Curry is going to be significantly lower owned for what it's worth. Curry is, for what it's, I mean, we literally one time in the last like 2 months has he put up a number that probably he'd need tonight, like to get there. Maybe not, depends on what Brunson does, but anyway, I just personally am not, I don't know. There's a part of it this part of it I was trying to mess around with, and like an hour ago, I would have really I was really trying to figure it out. And I was going to ask you something, and I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to focus on the other part of it, and then I'll figure this part out. Maybe we can do a thing, in the next couple of days or something. Yeah. Because I started to understand it, but this is not what's giving me headaches. What's giving me headaches is the slate itself. Let's see. The other Boston guys not named Tatum. That's one other way to get different. The problem is like try to get your builds in there, and it's not like there's a natural spot you find that often. At least that I didn't with the 8K, as a price point. Otherwise, Kristaps and Jaylen Brown would both be interesting to me. I did end up with a 6,400, and I have one Drew Holiday lineup, which I don't love, but that was again try to get different. Yeah, and these questions in chat are tough because, as Sheets always had said before, what are you playing? And like Kenny asked a question before, what are you playing? Like maybe it wasn't Kenny that question. It depends on what you're doing. Like if you're going to fade Grimes, like I think he's in my single entry builds and he's not in my large field tournaments right now, but or not in that many of them. Yeah, the hard part, Utah, you're just literally guessing. I like the idea of Utah to as a way to get something, but like it just feels like a guessing game that could go a million different ways. They play 13 guys, basically. They play everybody on their roster, and sometimes they play them 20 minutes, and sometimes they play them 35. You really, if anybody knows, you feel free to weigh in. I don't have a feel for what they're going to do because I don't think they do. They're playing this hot hand game. I guess you could just say maybe Lauri Markkanen, because he's the only one is going to play minutes. So yeah, that is something you could do.
It'd be so Embiid again. I think people are now expecting him to play, so not getting that same speculation.
Is he? But he's not popping in any of these builds, is he?
No, he's not. I'm getting some. Now I'm doing FanDuel now.
Yeah, FanDuel. I'm sure you'll get him because its pricing is so much looser. But man, it's maybe another thing you could do today, I guess, is play 3 Knicks that aren't Brunson and then play Steph in that lineup. I guess it would just be Steph instead of Brunson, although I like Brunson much better. I'm just trying to think of different things to do. The Lakers, you could do a game stack and run back with Trey if you fade Brunson. None of these sound like a great idea to me, but then just throwing it out there. All of the Bulls make sense, and no one's going to play the Raptors. So, guys we liked early in the day, maybe we should still like a little bit more. Maybe Dennis Schroeder, we should try to find a way to get some exposure to. Maybe playing Bruce Brown instead of Josh Hart. There's something you could do to get different. Like there's little things like that I see that you could do. And I actually like those kind of plays. But I'm not showing like no ownership on any. I just, anytime I look for anybody sub 10%, it just makes me like Schroeder is the closest one to just being like, okay, that feels very palatable to me in a price range that I could see using him. But everybody else, it just feels like a little bit of I don't really want to do that.
Right.
Okay, you play Brunson and Steph. I like that. Brunson and Steph, so you're fading LeBron. You're probably playing Reeves and not D'Angelo Russell because then you have to use up all your point guard spots. And I don't think you have to play one of Reeves or Russell, but I like the idea of playing one of Reeves or Russell. And oddly, Reeves is going to be the lowest owned Laker of consequence. So there's that too.
So funny, we had to go and curse Anthony Davis about saying how he never doesn't miss games.
I know, my bad on that one.
And I had to go curse Not cursed, but I had to like announce that they were running Luke into the ground, and they said he's going to sit tomorrow.
Yeah, that
Right?
one I think we knew was coming. I felt that one coming on.
I mean, the guy can't play like 500 minutes a week. I mean, like,
yeah, it's getting kind of ridiculous. Yeah, Atlanta run back would be nice, but I just can't. Again, none of them look. It just doesn't make enough sense to me. So yeah, I think you've got, there's the 12 to 14 group of players, and there's all the other extra guys. And for me, I would just include the Bruce Brown, the Schroeder, a little bit of Io maybe at 4,800. I think that's a reasonable one to use. Just as a low owned guy. I think it's worth speculating on Tobias Harris just in case Embiid is out. But again, that's just because you're getting really low ownership on a guy who will become like one of the best plays on the slate, maybe like the best play on the slate if Embiid is out.
right.
Capella, if he's sneaky, he's sneaking up on himself. This guy, he just like doesn't. I mean, you watch him. He does not look like the old guy. He had that nice game the last time out against Toronto. It's just so consistently starting to lean in, like Okongwu's favor in terms of minutes. They're really close, and it's a 24-minute center at 6K almost. Like that just sounds horrible to me. I have zero interest in Capella personally. If he gets there, it's a great matchup. That part I'll give him. I just don't know, why would it be him instead of Okongwu who's 4,700? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why it just, Capella's been more productive per minute. Okay. I don't personally have any of them myself. The Kuminga turn into Reed based on Embiid news seems like So that's what he's saying. Kuminga, you turn into Reed if I agree with that 100%. If he's out, like if Embiid's out, that's the easiest thing to do. Yeah, right. Like turn Kuminga into Reed. That makes perfect sense. Okay. So Jolly likes Sexton, maybe. Coming off 23 minutes yesterday, maybe because he played less minutes, you can get a chance. He played 23 and 16 and then 23 in 3 out of the last 4 games. That's a little worrisome. I know there's a blowout in there, but still, it's just a huge dart throw to me. And that's what, if you're going to throw a dart, I'd rather it be a little bit cheaper personally. But I mean, look, if he goes back to what was happening before, great. Okay, let's see. What's a good amount? Kenny's asking what's a good amount of players used for 20 maxes. Currently, I have 18. Is that not enough? It really depends on the slate. On this slate, I think 18 is fine. If you're playing a 20 lineups normally, I would probably get exposure to, on a big slate's probably more often I'd get exposure to 25 guys or something like that.
I've never really thought of it that way.
Yeah, I just mean what happens naturally to me with my
Yeah.
book. I only know it because I post them every day. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you something else. I don't want to have 100% of Dante DiVincenzo. I don't know why I'm against this play so much. I mean, not against it, but I mean, like, I know why I'm against it. I mean, like, it's my stupid freaking 50-year history of looking at this shit. It's like the guy played 42 minutes last night and totally smashes. I mean, he's going to be 70% owned. I mean, why just all of a sudden he's going to do it again? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. I am curious. Like I think I'll have a more of a feel for what to do once at least we have it. See, they're an NBA. So NBA.com. That's interesting. They were predicting all day that Christian Wood would start. Now they've got Jared Vanderbilt projected to start. Maybe they listen to me. We'll see. Okay, let's see. Scott says, Bobby, if you're starting with small field builds, out with one guy to try to get off the beaten path. Okay, what? What? So just if you're starting with one build with small field build, how many builds? Scott, how many builds? The good options are all the chalk ones that we talked about. That's how you're starting, and that's how I would start with probably at least 3 from each of the Lakers and Knicks. That's the way that my lineups keep ending up. And some I've got to get different with Draymond Green and Embiid and Kuminga and Embiid. That's not that different even. But I'm having a hard time staying off of 3 of the Knicks and 3 of the Lakers. You could definitely make an argument for just playing 2 of the Knicks and maybe skipping Brunson if you want to. I personally am going to play him, but sometimes LeBron, and yeah, I guess it's official now, but we sort of knew that.
What was official?
That LeBron is apparently in.
Oh, okay. Use Kobe White. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe just this is not the slate where someone's gonna go take it solo without playing any Lakers and Knicks. You know, it's like yesterday.
So, look, they said this. So Hayes is starting. Okay, so they went that way. All right, so Hayes will be the one who gets the better projection and everything. Now, I still think Wood is a really good tournament play, and his ownership should drop some because I think that was being projected in a little bit.
And you could always swap around that thing.
Swap around. What do you mean?
Well, Wood and Hayes later if you want, right?
No, that's the first game of the night.
Oh, the Lakers are first. I keep thinking the Lakers are freaking late. I keep forgetting. Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't know that one. Yeah, I'm good with Wood. By the way, I'm actually good with both of them if you wanted to take a shot. And I still think Hayes may get blowout run. That's the funny part. So Vanderbilt will be low.
I got to redo these then, right? Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I think Vanderbilt's going to play a lot of minutes tonight. So if the game is close. So if you do think the game, if you're playing a lineup that expects the game to be close, just keep in mind Vanderbilt should play more minutes than Wood or Hayes. Yeah, even right now, you guys projected to play more.
All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go then because I have to keep my eye on the ball for these updates and stuff like that. Okay. But I will catch up to you later.
All right. Good luck. Good night, man.
Okay.
Yeah, guys. I'm sorry. Again, it's tricky because I like the builds I'm looking at. You guys have seen my post them again for the premium Discord, but like where I was at, I'm really having trouble and having to force things to try to get a little bit off the chalk here, and it's kind of been frustrating. So I'm just gonna post it here in our NBA thing. Still not loving these builds, but you guys know what I'm doing as much as I know. So I will be putting in my updated ownership and stuff, but it's probably not going to change drastically, except for I'm probably going to end up with a little more Hayes than I had before, and I'm probably going to end up with a little bit of Vanderbilt that I forced. Prince has started every single game, David Pingalore, so there's nothing new about Prince starting. He was the one there was never a question about Prince starting. So yeah, that doesn't change anything. I actually don't mind Prince he'll be one of the lowest owned of the Lakers. I think you could take a shot there. But again, he's not going to be unowned, but he'll probably be the lowest owned. He and Vanderbilt, I guess, would be the 2 lowest owned of the significant names. Anyway, guys, good luck tonight. I'll be in the Discord channel, and we'll update all the premium members.